daily needs. The event, tagged Mission to the Visually Impaired, took place at Government House, Asaba. Florence Oyibodoro reports.
Speaking at the event, Deaconess Tobore Oborewori reaffirmed her commitment to the inclusion and empowerment of the visually impaired. She said her foundation has consistently provided educational and vocational materials to strengthen their confidence and promote a sense of belonging in society.
I thought it necessary to organize a program dedicated solely to your association. Too often, the visually impaired are regarded as lesser members of the society, denying access to quality education, and sometimes treated as second-hand citizens. In some families, having a visually impaired child is wrongly seen as a misfortune. But today, we are here to change that narrative.
In a heartwarming gesture, the governor's wife announced full university scholarships for 4 visually impaired undergraduates, a move aimed at breaking educational barriers and opening new doors of opportunity. She emphasized that disability should never define destiny.
One of the major challenges remains access to quality education. I therefore encourage those among you who have attained certain heights in learning to mentor the younger ones, them to study hard, to dream boldly, and to pursue excellence. The future belongs to them.
Deaconess Oborewori also presented several assistive devices and food items to beneficiaries, assuring them of her continued support as they pursued excellence and independence in their endeavors. Earlier, the Director General of the Human Charity Foundation, Mrs. Loretta Ogbedo, said inclusivity and compassion remained central to the foundation's mission.
All they need and deserve is an enabling environment, empathy, and support system that allows them to thrive.
The chairman of the Nigeria Association of the Blind State Chapter, Mr. Ediri Edison, and another beneficiary, Mrs. Angela Ekure, as well as some dignitaries, commended the governor's wife for the generosity, describing it as true leadership driven by empathy.
We've never had it this good before in Delta States, but today we see that the government is all inclusive, accepting even persons with special needs, thus the visually impaired. So today is wonderful.
This program today is exceptional. Thank you, ma. God bless you. I pray that God will prosper you. I pray that nobody will take your position.
She does it with passion. She does it from the depths of her heart. Of all the programs, that we've witnessed, this is so touching.
Highlights of the ceremony was a formal presentation of the assistive devices and food items by Deaconess Tobore Oborewori and top government officials to the beneficiaries. With smiles restored and hope rekindled, the governor's wife, Deaconess Tobore Oborewori, has once again shown that compassion has no limits. Florence Oyibodoro reporting.
Meanwhile, the wife of the state governor and founder of the You Matter Charity Foundation, Deaconess Tobore Oborewori, will lead the flag off of the Train the Trainers Summit in Asaba. The initiative, which also has the Commissioner for Primary Education, Dr. Shibogo Kingsley, as co-lead, was designed to equip parents, teachers and community leaders with modern strategies for raising confident and values-driven children. The summit themed Empowering Our Generation Next Leaders, Raising Children to Thrive and Lead was hosted by the Duke's Infant and Child Foundation. Convener of the program, Mrs. Augusta Anyanwegbom, said the event aimed to strengthen moral values, leadership skills and resilience among educators, caregivers and community leaders across the country. She disclosed that the summit will hold on Saturday, November 15 at the South End Event Center, DBS Road, Asaba, and continues in Warri on Sunday, November 16 at the Monarchy Event Center, Warri Sapele Road. The two-day event will feature prominent speakers in education, child development and youth empowerment as part of efforts to build a new generation of responsible and visionary leaders. The State's Director General of the Bureau for Orientation and Communications, Dr. Fred Latimer Oganesere, has clarified that Governor Sheriff Oboriwori was duly screened and selected by the Urobo Nation's DC 23 Governorship Aspirants Screening Committee before emerging as the People's Democratic Party PDP candidate in 2023. Dr. Oganesere stated this while reacting to allegations by a PDP chieftain, Dr. Abel Dafioro, who claims that Governor Oboriwori was imposed on the Urobo Nation by his predecessor, Senator Ifeanyi Okowa. He described the allegation as baseless, unfounded, and a deliberate attempt to mislead the public. The bureau chief explains that under the PDP's power rotation arrangement, it was Delta Central's turn to produce the governor in 2023, prompting the establishment of the DC 23 committee, chaired by Senator Iroyuta Amori, to screen aspirants from the senatorial districts. He noted that after 2 comprehensive screenings conducted by a subcommittee headed by Professor Nyeruwu Tunukari, 3 aspirants emerged: Right Honorable Sheriff Oboriwori, Chief Kenneth Gbagi, and Olorogun David Adevie. Dr. Oganesere recalls that former Governor Okowa directed that all aspirants, including the 3 cleared by DC 23, should participate in the PDP primary election, which was broadcast live on national television. Governor Oboriwori eventually emerged winner in the free, fair, and credible process, and later won the governorship election in 21 of the 25 local government areas of the state. Dr. Oganesere urged political actors to desist from spreading falsehood and unverified claims capable of inciting the public, stressing that Deltans should disregard what he described as an unwarranted outburst. He reaffirmed that Governor Oboriwori remains the popular choice of the Urobo Nation, whose emergence followed due process and reflected the will of the people. The State's Bureau for Orientation and Communications has debunked claims that the Delta State Oil Producers Areas Development Commission, the SOPADEC, was underfunded by the state government under the leadership of Governor Sheriff Oboriwori. Director General of the Bureau, Dr. Fred Oganesere, made the clarification while reacting to comments by a social media commentator, Chief Zik Bemri, alleging poor funding of the commission. Dr. Oganesere describes the allegations as unfounded and unwarranted, insisting that the SOPADEC remained well-funded and effectively managed by competent professionals under the present administration. He explained that the 8.4 billion naira recently paid by the governor were debts inherited from previous administrations, adding that Governor Oboriwori's action was commendable and demonstrated responsible governance. Dr. Oganesere further noted that the governor's proactive intervention had resolved long-standing issues between the SOPADEC and its contractors, assuring that the administration would continue to take decisions that promote development across all sectors. The Speaker of the State House of Assembly, the Right Honorable Emomo Timikwo, has congratulated the Ebenanawe of Ogulara Kingdom in Burutu local government area as the revered monarch marked 2 decades on the throne. In a statement signed by his chief press secretary, Nkemweke, the Speaker praised the royal father for his dedication, wisdom, and selfless service to the Ogulara Kingdom and the people of the state. The Right Honorable Gore commended the monarch's commitment to peace and unity, noting that his leadership has fostered development and enhanced welfare of his subjects. He urged the Ebenanawe to continue to provide guidance and leadership that will further advance progress of the kingdom and strengthen unity among his people. The Speaker prayed for the king's continued good health, long life, and many more years of fruitful and peaceful reign over the Ogulara Kingdom. The Permanent Secretary, Government House Affairs, Mr. Victor Udi, has urged National Youth Service Corps members to use their service years as an opportunity to acquire practical skills and experience relevant to the labor market. Mr. Udi gave the charge at a send-off ceremony organized for Batch C, Stream 1 Corps members who served in the Directorate of Government House and Protocol. Represented by the Director of Planning, Research and Statistics, Mrs. Tega Olowohonwa. The Permanent Secretary reminded the Corps members not to despise humble beginnings, but uphold values that make them dependable and indispensable in their future careers. The Director of Administration, Mr. Francis Eboka, and the Deputy Director in the Press Unit, Mr. Johnson Abaike, also advised the outgoing Corps members to remain focused, disciplined, and diligent in all their endeavors. On behalf of the outgoing Corps members, Mr. Peter Said Hussein expressed appreciation to the Directorate for its mentorship and also pledged to be worthy ambassadors of the organization. The event featured goodwill messages, commendations, and moments of reflection as the Corps members concluded their one-year national service with gratitude and optimism. The state government has announced that the final matches of the 2025 Zenith and Delta Headmasters Cup competition, earlier scheduled to hold on November 13, 2025 at the Stephen Keshi Stadium, has been postponed. A statement signed by the functioning Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Information, Mr. Harold Orji, says a new date for finals will be announced in due course. It added that the state government was committed to supporting all Deltans and lovers of football. President Bola Tinubu has pledged to mobilize resources for the establishment of 10 additional mobile power stations across the country. President Tinubu made the pledge at the State House, Abuja, during a meeting with Siemens Energy officials led by Mr. Dietmar Siesdorfer. He emphasized that the power sector remained central to national progress, affecting education, healthcare, and transportation. He said the partnership with Siemens Energy under the Presidential Power Initiative, PPI, will improve electricity supply, stimulate industrial growth, and enhance livelihoods. He said completion of the PPI's phased projects is expected to position the country as a continental leader in energy infrastructure, unlocking the nation's human and material potentials. The federal government has inaugurated an interministerial committee to oversee the nationwide implementation of the ban on single-use plastics across Nigeria. The inauguration ceremony took place in Abuja and was led by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Mohammed Danjuma. The ban covered polythene, terephthalate bottles, styrofoam, plastic bags, sachet water, and straws, among other disposable plastic items. Senator Akume explains that the initiative aims to reduce plastic pollution, protect public health, and safeguard ecosystems and marine life, noting that plastics take years to decompose and release harmful chemicals into the environment. He said the Interministerial Committee will coordinate policies, evaluate the ban's impact, and promote sustainable practices within the plastic value chain. The move aligned with the country's broader environmental goals and built on earlier restrictions implemented in Lagos State and federal government offices, marking a major step towards a cleaner and more sustainable nation. The First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has said the country could only achieve its goal when men and women work together to dismantle stereotypes and expand opportunities. Senator Tinubu made the remark during the inauguration of the Senator Oluremi Tinubu Gender Center of Excellence at the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru, in Plateau State. The center was expected to be a hub for ideas, innovation, and inclusive policies. Senator Tinubu noted that the center aligned with President Bola Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda and Nigeria's National Gender Policy 2026, supporting the Sustainable Development Goals and the African Union Agenda 2063. She stressed that empowering women benefits society as a whole and urged both genders to act as allies in promoting inclusion and collective progress. Still to come on the Delta Television main news, United Nations warns of impending hunger crisis. Details of this and more shortly. Stay with us.
Governor Sheriff once said, a modern Delta is not a dream, it is a vision we are actively bringing to life. When you hear of Governor Sheriff's trip to Brazil, to China, it is a testament of Governor Sheriff's commitment to bringing world-class standard infrastructural development to Delta State.
For the first time in the history of Delta State, I am seeing flyover constructions, this massive and in these numbers, being constructed at the Central.
Hundreds of billions have been approved this year for flyover constructions, both in rural, riverine, and urban.
And as we are here talking, I believe plans are already in progress to beginning the projects that are already approved.
Even as we are here talking now, the Ugeli flyover construction is already beginning. Governor Sheriff, they deliver for all areas. Talk about sports, urban education. What about health? Now human empowerment, too many to mention. Governor Sheriff don't talk and say 2026 budget, he go prioritize capital projects, social welfare, and infrastructure expansion. Governor Sheriff, governor will put the people before himself. Remata.
I have told people that will do more.
Governor Sheriff, governing with excellence. Brought to you by Delta State Ministry of Information.
Thank you for staying on. You are watching the Delta Television main news. We'll go on straight to the foreign scene. The United Nations has warned that millions of people across the world could face famine in the coming months as conflicts, violence, and funding shortfalls deepen global hunger crisis. A joint report released in Rome by the Food and Agriculture Organization FAO and the World Food Programme WFP highlighted several countries at highest risk of famine. The report identified Haiti, Mali, Palestine, South Sudan, and Yemen as facing an imminent risk of catastrophic hunger. Also listed as areas of very high concerns are Afghanistan, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Myanmar, Nigeria, Somalia, and Syria, with Burkina Faso, Chad, Kenya, and the Rohingya refugee camps in Bangladesh also included. The UN agencies called for urgent international action to increase funding, restore access to humanitarian aid, and address the root causes of conflict and displacement driving food insecurity. In Nigeria, the report highlighted ongoing insecurity and economic pressures as key factors pushing millions into hunger, with the UN urging stronger local and global interventions to avert further crisis. The United States President, Mr. Donald Trump, says he has an obligation to sue the BBC over what he described as distortion of a section of his speech in a Panorama documentary. President Trump, speaking to newsmen, claimed his January 6, 2021 speech was butchered and presented in a way that defrauded viewers. It was the first time the president had spoken publicly on the issue since his lawyers wrote to the BBC, threatening a $1 billion lawsuit unless the corporation retracts the report, apologizes, and pays compensation. A BBC spokesperson confirmed that the matter was being reviewed, while the organization's chair, Mr. Samir Shah, had previously apologized for what he called an error of judgment in the editing of the footage. The Ukraine Prime Minister, Mr. Yulia Sviridenko, has announced suspension of the country's Minister of Justice, Mr. German Galushenko, following a corruption scandal in the energy sector. The move came a day after anti-corruption prosecutors accused the former energy minister of involvement in the scandal, which had sparked widespread public outrage. Mr. Sviridenko said a decision was made to suspend Mr. Galushenko from performing duties of Minister of Justice. A Deputy Minister for European Integration, Mr. Lyudmila Sukak, had temporarily taken over his duties. Mr. Galushenko, in a statement, had denied any wrongdoing. Vice President Senator Kashim Shettima has declared open a 2025 Digital Nigeria International Conference and Exhibition in Abuja, reaffirming the federal government's commitment to sustaining economic stability and advancing digital transformation. Addressing participants at the opening ceremony, Senator Shettima said the administration of President opened the 2025 Digital Nigeria International Conference and Exhibition in Abuja, reaffirming the federal government's commitment to sustaining economic stability and advancing digital transformation. Addressing participants at the opening ceremony, Senator Shettima said the administration of President Bola Tinubu has brought stability to the economy after years of volatility and uncertainty. He explained that decisive reforms were introduced in response to global economic shocks and technological shifts, measures that, according to him, were now yielding positive results. The Vice President noted that recent credit rating upgrades by Fitch and Moody's reflect growing international confidence in Nigeria's economic direction. Senator Shettima said a Digital Nigeria Conference provides a platform for collaboration among stakeholders to harness technology for national growth and sustainable development. The Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, has launched a renewed effort to end the sale and use of pre-registered SIM cards and to strengthen telecom regulations across the country. The announcement was made during a public inquiry on 3 subsidiary legislations: the Licensing Regulations 2019, Enforcement Process Regulations 2019, and Internet Code of Practice 2019, held at the NCC headquarters in Abuja. The Executive Vice Chairman of the Commission, Dr. Aminu Maida, said the review of the regulations was necessary to keep pace with emerging technologies and ensure a safer and more transparent communications sector. He emphasized that the NCC remained committed to protecting consumers, curbing criminal activities linked to pre-registered SIM cards, and promoting accountability among service providers. The Commission said the updated regulations will enhance industry compliance, strengthen enforcement mechanisms, and safeguard national security in Nigeria's rapidly evolving digital landscape. That's our news. Here's our thought for the day. Struggle is temporary. Quitting makes it permanent. And now, just before we go, here are the highlights of the news. The China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation, CCECC, has commenced remedial works on the Afro-Sapele section of the Warri-Sapele-Benin Highway, currently under reconstruction by the Delta State government. The intervention followed a directive by Governor Sheriff Oboriwori and a follow-up inspection by the State Commissioner for Works, Highways and Urban Roads, Comrade Ruben Azize, on Monday. Visually impaired persons across the state's 25 local government areas have received a major boost as the wife of the state governor and founder of the UMATA Charity Foundation, Deaconess Tobore Oboriwori, donated various assistive devices and food items to support their daily needs. The event, tagged Mission to the Visually Impaired, took place at Government House, Asaba. And we also reported that the federal government has inaugurated an interministerial committee to oversee the nationwide implementation of the ban on single-use plastics across Nigeria. And from abroad, we did report that the United Nations warns of impending hunger crisis. You can always follow our news online on Facebook and YouTube at Delta Broadcasting Service, Asaba, or you can visit our website at www.dbsasaba.com. Thank you so much for watching the news. On behalf of the entire news crew, Joy Uche is my name. Good night.
If tanker wey carry fuel fall or pipe wey carry fuel for underground burst, wetin you go do? You go begin bail fuel put for your bucket, or you go run comot far for where the fire go soon come. Na only small time you get to take this wise decision. Waka comot, no, that one no dey enough. Shift, no, that one no dey enough. Stay there dey gist and take pictures with your phone. That na madness. Run, yes, run comot. Yes, your life depend on wetin you do. The fire go come at once.